Clerks will call the roll.
Glenn Whitley, County Judge.
Here.
Roy C. Brooks, Commissioner Precinct 1.
Present.
Marty Van Ravensway, Commissioner Precinct 2.
Here.
Gary Fickus, Commissioner Precinct 3.
Here.
J.D. Johnson, Commissioner Precinct 4.
Here.
Constitutes a quorum.
Thank you. Our invocation this morning will be delivered by Dr. Bob Mullen from Westworth Church of Christ in Westworth Village. Thank you very much for coming out today.
Thank you.
After the
Thank you,
invocation, please remain standing for our pledges.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Commissioners. Let us pray. God, thank you for this opportunity to be in a free nation where we are allowed to govern ourselves and have the ability to make these decisions. And our prayer for our judge and our commissioners is that as they deliberate challenging business today and things that need to be taken care of in a difficult economy and the ability to maintain the integrity of their precincts and the things that need to be done, that you'd fill them with wisdom and help as reports come that would give good information for that decision-making process. I pray in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you.
Go up on the web, make sure that you can get rid of
Mr. Manius?
Your Honor, we do not have any announcements today.
Thank you. Court members, you have before you our the minutes of our regular scheduled meeting of August the 10th.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Proclamations.
Judge, I move approval of the congratulatory proclamation for Mr. U.L. Rivers, who will be celebrating this coming Saturday 70 continuous years of service in gospel music ministry in Fort Worth, Texas.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. You have before you the consent agenda.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hello.
$25 fine. Whose phone was that?
I like that.
Motion passes unanimously. Mr. Manius.
Thank you, Your Honor. Members of the Court, we have two additional items for you this morning. The first, we're requesting that the Court approve and sign an order prohibiting outside burning within the unincorporated areas of Tarrant County for a period of 90 days from today or until repealed by the Court.
Well, let me make that motion.
Go right ahead. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Here comes the rain.
Yay.
Motion passes unanimously.
Of course, Mr. Renoir's evaluation will be due after today, so this is the first time he let us down on this one. So, Your Honor, members of the Court, on item number 2, we're requesting that the Court approve a user equipment agreement between the county and the DPS Crime Record Service Texas Data Exchange for the exchange of law enforcement incident records and other non-intelligence criminal justice information.
Move approval. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Snyder.
Risk Management Board is recommending the payment of the claim to Allstate Payment Processing Center. It's a subrogation on behalf of the injured party in a vehicle accident.
Move for approval. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Ms. Glenn.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We have 3 items for the court this morning. The first item, we're asking the court to receive and file the personnel agenda.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Our second item, we're asking the court to approve a waiver of terminal benefits for the 297th District Court. The judge's bailiff is separating, or actually has separated from county service on the 13th of August. with 119 vacation hours. Judge Young is requesting a waiver for 95 of those hours. The impact to the general fund will be approximately $913, excluding fringe benefits.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion, second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Our third and final item, we're asking the court to approve organizational changes for juvenile services. Juvenile services is requesting the creation of a project position. If the court recalls, these are temporary positions. They're asking that the position be created August the 18th. They're making this request because they have an employee who actually is on a tour of duty until August or September of next year. There'll be no impact to the general fund as the department intends to use the monies allocated for this position, the full-time position, to fund the temporary position.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion, second. So in effect, what we're doing is we're just making some temporary changes while this individual
Correct.
is off
That's correct.
in military service. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Let me ask a question about item number 4. I know it's on consent, but am I reading this correctly that that job is going to be taking on additional responsibilities and there's still going to be a bailiff, but the job classification is lower and they're going to receive less money?
It's actually not lower. Every salary system has equivalent grade, and they're just moving it out of the law enforcement system into the administrative system.
Well, the salary savings, it says, is approximately $354 for this year. That, to me, led me to believe that was lower.
How are they saving money?
You know, Ann?
So this person is moving from a bailiff to a
Grade 17.
It's a bailiff
Grade 17.
slash legal researcher.
Are they still going, and they're still going to do the bailiff position?
They're going to do bailiff work regarding the jury.
Talk to us.
A grade 17 is equivalent in terms of job evaluation points to a grade 53. There is a slight difference in salary. The actual dollar amounts are slightly different, but in terms of position evaluation, they are the same. That's why you see the $300 difference or whatever it was, $350.
But this person is not going to take a cut in salary.
It's a new person. Turn
Oh, it's a new.
Right, it's a vacant position currently.
Okay, so now I want to go back and be sure we're talking about the
Still
same
going to
thing.
be a bailiff.
We're going to have a bailiff, we're going to have somebody coming in, it's a new position. They're going to be in a bailiff's position, and they're going to be also doing this legal research,
That's correct.
researcher. Is the savings because it's a new person?
The savings comes from it being changed to a grade 17 because the dollar amounts on the grade 17 scale are slightly lower than those of the grade 53.
Okay. So that particular court is not going to have a bailiff in their table of organization.
It's still going to be a bailiff position. It has additional duties, so that's why we've changed it from judge's bailiff to judge's bailiff / legal researcher to show that there is a difference in the position description.
But let me just caution the fact that we're now not going to have, we're not paying anybody as a bailiff, we're paying them now as a grade 17. Somewhere down the line, there's going to be a request for, Carnac tells me that we're going to have a bailiff request at some point in here. Why not leave it as a bailiff and let them also do legal research in a slightly higher pay?
I think the difference is the position description does not, currently as a judge's bailiff, does not reflect what the person will be doing and the duties they'll be
But they
performing.
will be doing a bailiff's position. There's not going to be another bailiff in that courtroom, is there?
But yes, the sheriff's department provides 2 bailiffs for CDC number 1 to make up a total of 3 bailiffs that operate in that court. And I'm sure she makes numerous requests for additional security based on what's going on in there. But this position will not be required to be a certified peace officer. And there are situations where that has occurred in the past with other positions that report directly to the court.
So what's the difference in the bailiff responsibilities of this bailiff who handles the jury responsibilities versus a typical bailiff?
The other bailiffs that are provided by the Sheriff's Department or our certified peace officers are actually acting as security in the courtroom. This person is involved more with leading the jury in and out to the courtroom, into the jury deliberation room, and keeping the hallway secure, because, you know, once they get into anybody gets into the floor, the inner floor of the Justice Building, then they have access to the entire inner circle. So they stay watch over the jury deliberations to make sure that nobody is within talking range or anything else of those jurors. And it's also going to provide the legal research to kind of cure a problem that existed ever since we created this writ attorney. The legal research that they'll be doing is for the writ attorney.
Is for what?
The writ attorney answers all the writs that are filed against cases in the felony court.
Okay.
I guess the question I'm still going to have, though, is the sheriff going to have to furnish an additional bailiff for that courtroom with this change?
You know, I can't really answer whether they do that on a regular basis. I believe their sheet yesterday, and I'll have to pull that up quickly and look at it, said that they provide 2 bailiffs to CDC number 1. So let me see if I can find that right quick.
Just for clarification, this person is not within the Sheriff's Department's TO, is it? It's within this is the judge's bailiff, not the Sheriff's Department bailiffs.
But by law, we're required to furnish that position
Yes, sir, we are.
as a bailiff.
And we furnished 2 of them right now.
There's a total of 3 bailiffs
But
that are
just one,
required.
though, that's,
Required for criminal district courts. In some cases, the Sheriff's Department provides all 3. In other cases, there are a number of them that are judges' bailiffs. We just have a waiver of terminal benefits for 297th District Court. He actually has 2 judges' bailiffs, and there's 1 bailiff provided by the Sheriff's Department.
but that was
Statutes-
written into law.
The statutes
for
are
that court.
different for all of the courts. And some have given up that responsibility by choice. Now, that doesn't mean that somewhere down the line, when a different judge comes in, hence what happened with 213th District Court, they requested a judge's bailiff back. So we had to move a position from the Sheriff's Department to recreate that judge's
So
bailiff.
at the end of the day, if we approve this, CDC number 1 is going to have 2 Sheriff's Department bailiffs. Are they now going to have 1 bailiff in their court?
What?
No.
I don't,
And that's my question.
I didn't.
Because now we're going to go from 3 bailiffs, which we're required to have in our criminal courts, to where we're only going to have 2 provided by the sheriff, and there's not going to be 1 on her table of organization. Because
That's hers
It
still.
still will be called a judge's bailiff.
She's
it'll
just
be-
asking that this bailiff do something in addition to
have the
being a
additional
bailiff.
responsibilities.
And in order to do that, they have to have a different job description.
We'll go from 3 to 2.5.
I mean, they're going to essentially be providing the same duties as the previous judge's bailiffs in that court. We're just recognizing the fact
That they
that they're
do
also
something.
going to be providing legal research, which a previous incumbent has been doing.
Mr. DA, legally, if we're required to have 3 bailiffs in that court, and we have 2 that are titled bailiffs from the Sheriff's Department, and we don't have another titled bailiff in that court, by law, will we be required to have another bailiff in that court?
I don't think so, as long as you keep calling this person bailiff. Now, whether you have a practice,
We're just now calling this person not a bailiff, but a grade 17.
I understood that they're still going to be called a bailiff.
Correct.
They are a bailiff, they're just not paying out of the law enforcement
You may
area.
create a practical problem. If the bailiff is unable to go in and out of the jail, then they may, and the sheriff may not, if it's not a certified peace officer, they may not allow that bailiff to move in and out of the jail, and the prisoners move in and out of the jail. Bailiffs do that. But I don't think it's going to be a legal problem. I think the problem, if there is one, is practical operation. In other words, if you ask me a year from now, when they come up with, if they came up with a request for another judge's bailiff, I would say, as long as this person is called a bailiff, you don't have to provide it.
I'm looking at the Sheriff's Department information that we passed out to you yesterday about their staffing requirements for that section, and it says that they provide 2 bailiffs for Criminal District Court number 1.
All of which points out to the fact that we need to have a conversation about bailiffs.
That conversation got to happen with the state legislature, not with our judges.
Well, we're the ones who have to provide them and pay for them.
I just don't want to get a trend going here to where we turn these court-appointed bailiffs into clerical workers, and then we end up hiring more bailiffs. And
So everything is, so everybody understands where our
Yes,
conversation's
we do.
going on here. But bailiff never needs to be taken out of that title.
Correct. And I'll give you another situation. The jury room employees are called jury bailiffs. Now, they're not paid as law enforcement positions, but statute requires them to be called jury bailiffs.
Okay, does the sheriff have any problem with that bailiff bringing folks in and out of the jail?
I don't know that this position traditionally does that one way or the other.
Was the request originated by HR or by
No,
the judge?
The judge made the request,
And
and
has the judge been using the bailiff to do some clerical work and now wanted to clarify that it was okay to
Right.
request this clerical work be done
that's
by
right.
bailiff?
The judge has been using the individual, and actually, I believe
Seems reasonable.
this is the second incumbent in this position.
Well, but I mean,
Second or
this all
third,
leads
but-
back to exactly what Commissioner Johnson was saying. We're sitting here saying that this person's a bailiff, and we're actually providing, they're doing additional stuff
Research.
called research. And for the privilege of doing additional research, we're going to pay them less.
What I can tell you, Judge, is that in answer to Commissioner Van Ravensway's question, yes, the judge did in fact make the request. She completed the PDQ, which is what is typically required, that outlined all of the duties, including the bailiff duties, research duties. That document went to job evaluation a week or two ago, and the decision that what you have before you is the recommendation from the Job Evaluation Committee. So this position has been evaluated, given all of the responsibilities that we've discussed today.
I think I would rather, we know that the bailiffs are not in a jury responsibility 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. And I would rather know that they have a job description that more clearly defines what they do than just assume that they're a bailiff 40 hours a week, because we know they're not.
Okay, I mean, I think we've beat this horse to death, and we can come back to it later on if
well, we have actually approved this.
we've already approved it, yeah.
But we could reconsider it if we need to get some more clarification from the judge and maybe from the sheriff. I appreciate, I think, what the judge is trying to do, and that's to utilize that bailiff to the full extent of their 8 hours. I just want to make sure it doesn't cause us a heartburn on more bailiffs in those courtrooms.
Well, let's assume that we have done the right thing, and unless there's additional, you've heard our concerns, I would like for you to follow back around and make sure that we're, you know, that we're okay.
We've heard your
As long as we
concerns.
are, we'll go from there.
Okay, thank you.
I think the most important statement in this discussion was make sure bailiff never comes off the title of that job.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, it's called judges, bailiffs / legal researchers, though, today.
Come on up here and save us and move us on.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm here to ask for the court's approval of a contract with Big Bad Wolf Creative Group. There are videographies. This is a little break from the action. Creative Group, they are the videographers for our obesity prevention grant, and they're going to be shooting video for fruit and vegetable selection and promotion and community garden promotion, and we're working with AgriLife on a lot of this to get the models for our videos.
Well, okay.
That would be
Move for
Big Bad
approval.
Vegetables.
Yes, sir.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Did y'all get that motion? Second? Mr. Beecham, come on down.
How was God's country? Arkansas.
Great.
We have 5 items for your consideration this morning. Our first item is a bid award recommendation for our bid number 2010-086. This is our annual contract for copier and fax supplies. Our recommendation would be to award on a per enterprise basis, awarding the primary and secondary vendors as shown in the court communique. We did receive a bid from a company called Quill Corporation, and they are unable to hold their prices for the 1-year contract term, so we would recommend rejection of that particular bid.
Move approval.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Item number 2 is another bid award recommendation for our bid number 2010-089. This is an annual contract for short and long-term rental of cars, trucks, and vans. Recommendation would be to award on a per enterprise basis, awarding again to the primary and secondary vendors as shown in your court communique.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Number 3 is another bid award recommendation for our bid number 2010-090. This is a bid for structured cabling for the new Northwest Sub Courthouse. Recommendation would be to award the low bidder, Superior Fiber and Data Services, the amount of $83,240.
Move approval.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Number 4 is another bid award recommendation for our bid number 2010-092. This is our annual contract for the purchase of warehouse boxes and lids. Recommendation would be toward the low bidder on a per enterprise basis, Greenwood Outfitters.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Last item is an item in regards to RFP number 2010-088. This is an RFP for a offender specimen collection and drug testing services for CSCD. We are recommending rejection of all proposals and seeking permission to rebid with revised specifications.
So move.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any appointments? There being none, then you have before you the claims, including the addendum.
Move approval.
Second.
There are a motion and a second to approve the claims, including the addendum. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Briefing items, Mr. Manius.
Thank you, Your Honor. Members of the court, we have 2 items for you this morning. The first one is the monthly update from the hospital district. Mr. Early is here to address the court at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Manius, court members, judge. I was remiss last time I came before the court in not having money with me, and so I did not give to the program. So in order to penalize myself, I'm going to give Mr. Manius, a man that I trust, $40.
That already colors our judgment of you.
Thank you. I understand. So
That's
And I'll-
going to be something
Now, what
that
is this
Bradley's
for?
going to take from him.
That's for the fact that we had the program of,
You didn't have your purse.
The
I
food
didn't have my
bank
purse
lunch
with me.
program.
Exactly. It's a European handbag. It's not a purse. No, I don't have either one.
And I understand you're still looking for
I am.
donations, because that's what you were fixing to get to, because you figure, okay, they
I'm
got
not-
me, I'm going to get them now.
I'm not philanthropic for any just particular reason. So yes, that is the case. I want to thank those of you who have given. Ms. Price, thank you so very much. Commissioner Johnson and others for helping in my quest to complete a 100-mile bike ride at the end of this month.
I want to talk to you a little bit about that.
I'm gonna
Yes, sir.
be in his will for making a contribution.
Yeah.
You did get past that first marker, or by that kind of point of no return, that if you don't get there within a certain period of time, they kind of move you off to the 80-mile course?
Yes, sir.
You got past that marker, you made it the full 100 miles.
I made the whole 100 miles last year. And last year, when you sign up, if you've not done it before, they send you a form, and you got to wear this thing that calls
So,
you
rookie?
Well, they call you a hopeful. So last year I walked around with a big tag on it that said hopeful, and I have advanced now. I get to wear a tag that says keeper, and I'm really proud of that. So I'm a keeper this year. I'm no longer a hopeful, and so I'm prepared to ride my 100 miles again. Unfortunately, last year we had a little bit of a cool spell. This year it doesn't appear that that's going to
No, I
happen.
think its title is going
I
to
think
be
it's
very
appropriate.
fitting
Yeah.
this year. So
Yeah, exactly right. So
I was up there Sunday, in fact, and good luck.
thank you very much. So I'll give it my best. And so far, thanks to many of you all, we have already raised about $5,000 for our employees. So I couldn't be more proud and more thankful to y'all giving money to our employee giving campaign, which helps our employees in their time of need. So it's great. A couple things I want to give you all an update on. First, I did bring David Salisbury with us today. Many of you have met David. David's been with the organization for 10 months, 11 days, and an hour. And David is our Chief Financial Officer. And David joins us from Baylor in Houston, and prior to that, the University of West Virginia. And he's a great addition and a great Chief Financial Officer. I'm very proud of him. Also, I want to give you 4 quick updates. We were pleased that the Mayor of Fort Worth took the time to come to our board meeting and thank us for the care that we had provided to 2 of the City of Fort Worth's own, a fireman and a police officer. We recently had another police officer come to JPS with head injuries. Thank goodness and thank God that he has been released and is doing well. But I do think it speaks volumes that you and your constituents know that as a level 1 trauma center now, we are ably taking care of that patient base, and we're proud of it. And we were thankful that the mayor came and thanked us for that. That was a nice honor for our team, and we had all the ICU team to hear his praises, and that was kind of him to do. Also, we had a chamber luncheon. The chamber luncheon went well. We invited all the execs from the chambers to come in. That went well. Had a good meeting and a good tour. The other thing is, and some of you have signed up to attend, which I appreciate, on Monday, we will have a healthcare symposium where we will be bringing in national and state experts in. We have 2 state representatives, 2 members of the Texas House of Representatives coming in who are heading up a committee on indigent care. They will be coming in. Lieutenant Governor David Dewhurst will be coming in as our speaker for our luncheon. And Commissioner of Insurance Mike Giesland will be coming in. And it's a perspective for those in healthcare, those in the private sector, and those that are administration to sort of give a perspective of what we can be looking forward to or dealing with in the future. And I'm happy to have that symposium at JPS and to bring in those folks. Last thing I wanted to give you an update on is to tell you that our board did approve of 2 things. That one you'll be briefed on in our budget, and that is the acceptance of the contract for the electronic medical record. We have chosen to go with Epic. Epic is one of the largest vendors for electronic medical records, and the advantage to that is Parkland is on that system, THR is on that system, so we, at least with those two systems, will have a seamless capability for medical records. And we're working with the other electronic medical records in town to make sure that we can get those transfer of medical records when we ultimately get up there. But we've expanded our funds this year in the budget and accepted the contract with Epic. The other thing that I will tell you that will be coming before the court next meeting is the fact that the board did approve the sale of our condominium in Austin. We have had a condominium in Austin that seemed to be utilized by our government affairs team in the past. I don't feel that we need to have that at this time, so we have had an offer to sell the condominium, and that offer was approved by the board, but it certainly is up to the approval of you as Commissioners Court. And the buyer is well aware of the process that we need to go through for that. And we'll have a presentation to y'all on fair market value and what we received in the offer and what that relates to in the real estate market in Austin. That's all I have, Your Honor and Commissioners, and thank you all very much.
Any questions? Thank you.
And you are in my will and my heart. Thank you.
Members of the Court, we have one final item to bring to the Court this morning on briefing. This is item B, which is a Texas AgriLife Extension Service briefing concerning keys to the courthouse.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, Your Honor, and Commissioners of the Court. We appreciate your time this morning to allow us to share some information about a curriculum of which we're very excited. The title of the curriculum is called The Keys to the Courthouse, and is designed as an enrichment curriculum that expands the students' knowledge about county governments. This was developed in partnership with the Texas Association of Counties, the Texas Judges and Commissioners Association, the V.G. Young Institute of County Government, and the Texas 4-H and Youth Development Program. The lessons are designed primarily for 7th grade students and 12th grade students, and they contain 5 lessons. One of the lessons is on framework and function of the county government. There's a lesson on primary services, the justice process, the election and voting, and the financing of county governments. For each of the grade levels and each of the lessons, there's a set of 5 activities per grade. Each of you were provided with a copy of the curriculum this morning. If you open it, you'll notice that Chapter 1 starts on page 4. And at the beginning of each lesson, the teacher will find things such as the developmental assets, the TEKS, and the objectives. And these are very helpful as a quick reference for teachers who are looking for something to supplement and reinforce the concepts that they've taught in their classrooms. This is an example of some of the knowledge points that they'll be acquiring. And although, of course, the information is within the text of the program, there is also an answer key to make it more convenient for the teachers as well. And then here is another one as well, so you can see they're wanting them to become very familiar with the county level government as well. The plans for implementation are with the 4-H ambassadors, the 4-H County Council. One of our homeschool clubs is also planning to participate in this year, and an awareness campaign to community groups and schools located throughout the county. Another exciting thing about the curriculum is, if we turn over on page, I believe it's 34, you'll see some of the examples of the activities, and they have the vocabulary words along with the knowledge points, some games and different things to reinforce the concepts. And then at the end of the book, you'll find a DVD which provides all of the information in an electronic format, plus a series of videos which are very helpful. And it was very exciting as I watched those to see our own Judge Whitley, who played a key role in these videos, and they're excellent quality. They'll keep the students' attention and gain a lot of information from utilizing them.
I don't know about that, but if they can keep the students' attention, it'll be amazing.
I think it will. And our anticipated outcomes for this program is that the youth will become more knowledgeable about their county government and become more actively engaged in their communities. Do you have any questions or comments this morning?
I guess the only comment I would make is, again, this year as president of the National Association, we've kind of taken on as the initiative raising the awareness, and we distributed this to folks on the committee, and they were very impressed, and I want to thank you all for your offer to allow them to have the online version so that they can adapt this to the various states across the country. I know it's not quite as easy as it sounds. It's not just a matter of saying, okay, every place you find Texas, let's put New Jersey, but it's still a great step forward, and it's a lot of help in moving down that road. And one of the things that we've really determined as we look at raising awareness is we've got to do it with the kids in school as well as with folks that we come in contact with every day, because still most folks have no clue as to what county government is about or what we do, and we need to really work at increasing that awareness over the coming years. So thank you again very much for this. It's a great program, and I look forward to seeing it not only here in this state, but hopefully throughout the country.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for all y'all do.
Your Honor, if I might make a comment as relates to the agenda. We are not going to go into closed today. We have no items to bring before the court in closed session today. Also, you might note that we continue to carry an item called work session dealing with the FY11 budget. It's our intent to continue to hold this on the agenda until we do pass the budget, which will be September 14th.
Okay. There being no further business, we are